The keys to the game are brought to you by AutoNation. AutoNation drives pink to help drive out cancer. Over $28 million donated so far to cancer treatment and research. Do your part and drive pink in a new car or truck. For the AutoNation store near you, visit AutoNation.com. Back on the Manny Diaz Show, Joe Zagacki, Don Bailey Jr., and Josh Darrow. Time for the keys to the game, Miami and North Carolina in Chapel Hill. In our first key to the game, Canes got to run the ball, got to create some havoc on defense, and our third key is limit the impact of quarterback Sam Howell. All right, we talked a little bit in the last segment about running the ball. Cameron Harris, back-to-back 100-yard games. Sometimes you got to stay with it, and you break one or two, it makes a big deal.
Let's get 3 in a row. Last year he started the season 134, 134, no more 100-yard games. Let's get 300-yard games in a row for Harris. He's a senior. It's time. He's been against North Carolina multiple times in his career. Fortunately for Miami, they got the Rooster back. He's a guy that can break some plays. And I'm with you. I think you said earlier in the show he looked like he was a half a step away when he was running the football. Let's hope we can get some production out of that running game.
I think it's some of the best football we've seen from Cam Harris, by the way. There was the Michigan State game, he ran hard. I think we're seeing a tougher Cam Harris.
A tougher Cam Harris who he's not afraid to take on contact, right?
No.
And he has some physicality to break tackles. But I'm with Joe Z on the Rooster. I want to see him cut loose, get to that second level, and because he's kind of like what Josh Downs is for North Carolina from a different position. If he can get to that second level and break something, he easily can take it to the house.
The thing about him, Joe, when you talk about the Rooster, is the fact that he's going to give you that extra gear that you haven't had. But I also think we should throw into the running game the swing pass. Anything behind the line of scrimmage, it's not a run, but it'll help.
Our defense got to create some havoc. A lot of teams have done that against Carolina. They've given up 23 sacks this year. You've got to be able to create some havoc on defense, make it tough on North Carolina.
I think tackles for loss is something that Miami's done a good job of this year, that you'd like to see a lot of those. I think you can create havoc by getting Sam Howell in a position where he doesn't want to cross the line of scrimmage, where you're hitting him and striking him so much that he's going to think twice about it. I haven't seen anybody do that yet, but I'd like to see that happen. And then the other part of the defense is the takeaway. It's been absent this year. You'd like to be +1 every single football game. That would put Miami at +5 or 6 at this point of the year. You'd have a whole different outlook.
It's one more possession. It's a shift in field position. Yeah. It's hidden yardage, so to speak. We always think of it in terms of special teams, but you can shift field position with the turnover. And again, if Sam Howell is going to have the ball in his hand that many times, both whether it's standing in the pocket or taking off, you got to knock one loose. And if he gives you one, you got to take it. You have to take it in this game. You're going on the road, desperate, you need a win, you want to come home with a victory. I think that's probably one of the biggest keys to getting a victory and coming out of there with one is really the havoc rate and the turnover really benefiting the Canes.
Well, I think what went under the radar in the Virginia game is that the quarterback came in throwing for 425 yards a game. Miami held him under 300, under 250, I think it was.
Yeah.
And so I think part of the plan was, well, let's test this guy's patience. The same, I think, would have to be true with Sam Howell. You can't give up the big play. Make him drag you down the length of the field.
The thing when you look at his numbers, his touchdown to interception ratio was better his first and second year. This year he's not quite there. Obvious reasons, of course, are the factors that he doesn't have the explosive players and the seniors surrounding him at the skill spots. But if you're going to put this game on Sam Howell's back, he'll take it.
Oh yeah,
he'll take it. He's not going to back down from anybody or any competition. But you've got to make sure that he has to earn it. You just don't want to give it to him. And I think the other part of it is that I'm not so sure that they can run the football with the confidence that they've had. That's why they're putting on his shoulders. My thought is shut down Downs, and I think you're going to make him have to look for somewhere else to throw the football. That's equally as important as dealing with Howell.
I agree. I think this game, so it's a turnover. I also think if you're looking at Miami's defense, the front four, because they've got to put pressure on Sam Howell. That offensive line has allowed opposing defensive linemen to get to Howell when he's been scrambling and moving and running, sometimes throwing in the pocket, someone's taking off down the field. So Silvera, Ford, McLeod, Johnson, Harvey, Chance Williams, those guys, I think really they need to be felt on Saturday. That's where the game starts for me, is how effective can they be up front against North Carolina's offensive line? Because even you put on the FSU film, they're getting after Sam Howell. Georgia Tech had 8 sacks. So to me, that's kind of where North Carolina is off kilter.
Well, it was a tough September. I've seen bad times turn good in life in a hurry. So let's hope October brings good times to the University of Miami. Canes and North Carolina on Saturday at 3:30. For head coach Manny Diaz, Josh Darrow, and Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next week on the Manny Diaz Show.